Welcome to the number one friendship podcast in the country. I'm Matt Ritter.
I'm Aaron Karo.
Guys, go to our YouTube page. Check out what we're doing over there and go to the Man of the Year podcast.com. I think I said it wrong. Man of the Year podcast.com for all of our other stuff. Guys, I have always had something that's been bothering me that I want to get off my chest about the way that people interact with old dog owners.
Okay.
For a long time, I've been an old dog owner of a 12-year-old French bulldog named Olive. And every time people would see her limping around, I always knew the conversation was not going to be a pleasant one. Because the first thing they always say is, "What's wrong with your dog?" And I'm just like, nothing. She's an old dog. There's nothing wrong with her. And then they would always ask the next question, which of course makes you feel like absolute shit. They'd go, "Oh, how old's your dog?" And I'd go, 12. And then they go, "Well, how long do Frenchies normally live?" And I go, 9. Thanks for making me acutely aware of my dog's impending demise. And then they just right in front of the dog, they go, "Oh, well, are you going to get another one when she passes?" I'm like, "She's right here. She can hear you. How dare you?" And I just think it's hilarious because we would never do that to people, right? We don't talk about people's grandmothers that way. You never go up to somebody while they're strollering their grandmother in a wheelchair and go, "Hey, how old's your grandma?" 96. "Oh, do you know how long grandmas normally live?" 74. "Yeah, are you going to get another grandma?" The reason I bring all this up is because I'm a bit emotional. Because as Karo knows, but maybe some of our listeners don't, my faithful other best friend, Olive, passed away. So
Rest in peace, Olive.
yeah, it was a tough blow and we miss her. It was brutal. We walked in from just going out with our son and, you come back and she was gone. And I guess it was for the best. We were starting to get into questions of, do we have to put her down? I've never wanted to, I don't know that I could do that, Karo, the idea of I don't even know how they do it. Luckily, I never even got into that because I feel like, how would I choose to do it? Is it like it's basically like choosing your like, how do you, like, lethal injection, behind the barn? Like, what's the preferred method?
I hope I'm not and by the way, like obviously dogs are called man's best friend. So that's why we're gonna talk about this. And we actually did another episode about man's best friend in episode 15. So check that out. But I hope I'm not getting these facts wrong, but we had friends whose cat was ill. And I'm pretty sure they had someone come to the house, like, who specializes in putting down pets, and they do a whole ceremony and then they do their business and they take it away. Is that possible?
They do pre-funeral before they put the dog down? Like
The way the way you just said that makes it seem insane. This was a cat, but
and they call this guy the Wolf, obviously.
maybe he wasn't. It's not even a business. This is what he likes to do.
I will say that part was actually very pleasant. So there was a guy who came to pick her up. I'm going to try not to cry while I'm telling you this. And he was like very, very sweet guy, like former high school football coach, just had a good energy for this type of activity.
How'd you know? He told you that?
Yeah, we had a convo. I mean, you're standing there, like, he's wrapping your deceased dog. And he said that 12 was the oldest Frenchie he's ever picked up. So that made me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
She had a good, healthy.
How did you find this person? I'm sorry.
Just Googled dog cremation services.
Okay.
What's good about it is it's 24/7.
Wow.
They will pick up your dog within an hour.
It's like Uber
So here's the part that was quite emotional. We didn't know what to do that night. It happened at night, and we were like, so do we just leave her in her dog bed? We were thinking about leaving her in her dog bed overnight. And then I was just like, I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm not going to be able to sleep. There's no way. And also she was so cold. We were like acting, we were like wrapping her in blanket after blanket. I'm just like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
And I called the guy and I was like, "Do you want to just come in the morning?" He's like, "No, I should come now. There's going to be some odors and stuff. It's not pleasant. Things happen really quickly to the body.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, just get her out. But yeah, so he was really sweet. That was like a pretty pleasant thing. But I did want to talk about this episode, because uh yes, they say dogs are men's best friend. And I just now was thinking about, I'm not really I don't really like reflect a lot while I'm living my life. I try to live in the moment and be present. But afterwards, we just did a whole bunch of reflecting about how much of a part of our life and my identity she was, to the point where now I'm walking around my town and everybody's like, "Where's Olive?" and I have to just like repeat it over and over again. But one episode we did, which I thought was kind of amazing, I was like, "Oh my god, that's what dogs are! Friendship snacks."
Hmm.
Will you just define that again for our listeners?
The friendship snacks was like the little bite-sized social interactions to boost your, social energy. Is that what you're
Yeah,
referring
yeah.
to?
And so I realized, we think about how, oh, if I don't have time to see my friend, it's not worth it if I don't really have like an hour. It's like, no, no, you should just see them for 15 minutes because it boosts your endorphins and all these other things that it does for you. And I feel like anytime I ever wasn't like, I didn't just do it because I wasn't feeling great, but anytime I spent even like 2 minutes in my day with my dog, it just immediately pumped me up. So I feel like a dog is not just best friend, and they're like the greatest friendship snack you could have in your life. I mean, there's a million reasons to have a dog, but I just feel like days are long, and sometimes you just be like working, or you just like not so isolated. We live in such an isolated time now too, with the remote work and everything, and it's like having a dog definitely makes it less lonely throughout the workday. You could just pop in.
I mean, it's almost like, instead of scrolling through TikTok for 5 minutes, you could pet a dog.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. You get your endorphins in the really unhealthy way by watching pole vaulters on TikTok. Is that the new? What are we into? What are we into? Should we do a TikTok check-in? What are we into now?
Matt, I didn't even tell you this, but I was on a date a few weeks ago and we were talking about TikTok and she's like, "Oh, what does your algorithm show you?"
Oh boy.
And
Were
it
you
was one of those
honest?
things
Or
where
did you tell the truth?
I did because, well, it was one of the things where it caught me like she saw like it was obviously going to be something weird or funny. Like I couldn't, there was no way to vamp away from it. She's like, "What is it?" And I was like, "Slovakian pole vaulters." And she was hysterical. So that's a good, she was like, "That's the funniest thing ever." She's like, "Now I'm going to get Slovakian because our phones are listening to each
Yeah.
other." So yeah.
This is so weird. I started getting all these STEM videos, STEM like science,
Yeah.
technology. I was getting, you're gonna love this. I was getting an unstoppable amount of them every time I turned on TikTok. That's all I got. STEM, STEM,
What do you
STEM.
mean? Like experiments?
Yeah, like all kinds of STEM experiments. And
Okay.
it took me literally like 3 or 4 TikTok sessions to realize that at the top, I had clicked on a STEM thing.
I never knew what that button did. Is that like supposedly to counterbalance the destroying our minds that there's a STEM section of TikTok?
I don't know. But all it did was give me science stuff. I was like, how do they know that I like science this much? And then I started convincing myself that I did like science that much.
STEM feed is an optional feed on TikTok that displays content related to science, technology, engineering, and math. I mean, if there was experiments being done by Slovakian pole vaulters,
Mm,
then I would really love it.
mm,
You know what's interesting, Matt? I don't know if we talked about this. TikTok has been feeding me a lot of sports.
mm.
And we've talked about this in the pod that I grew up being a massive sports fan, and now I'm a lot more casual because just it's not as
As you
priority.
get older, it's life. That's as you get
It's
older,
tough.
you become less of a sports fan. It's almost impossible to maintain your level of sportsdom.
And I think it's also harder when I don't have kids. Like you have a son to share that stuff with,
Not
uh,
yet, though. He's still too
but,
young to
but
enjoy.
soon.
Yeah.
But it's showing me like best 10 best plays of all time, blah blah blah, and it's like it's get me back into it.
I It's funny you say that. I find that like I can almost I'm more likely to watch like highlights of the 1986 World Series than I am to watch the World Series.
Oh yeah, well, because we're children of the '80s and nostalgia and
Right.
um,
Like I could watch Joe Theismann get his leg broken over and over again before watching an actual game.
you know what's funny? I bought something on TikTok for the first time.
Whoa, consumer
Yeah,
alert.
yeah. I bought a pair of sneakers. They were
Wait, I didn't even
19.
know you could do that. Wait, what?
Oh, TikTok shop is eating the world. It's in the next. Yeah. In fact,
You
we
buy
should.
it, like, so what happens? You see a kid wearing cool shoes and you can just click and it's just there?
Yeah, I mean, it says shop. I mean, it's integrated. I mean, same as Instagram. Like, yeah, you see, it's like an ad. It fakes you into thinking it's a thing, but it's an ad. I bought these sneakers. They came from China. They were the wrong size. I clicked it and said wrong size. Need to return. They go, forget it. Just keep them or donate them. I'm like, okay. And then I got a second pair. They're absolute garbage. I mean, they look fine, but you could tell they're going to fall apart in 6 weeks. And now TikTok just sends me. They know I'm a sucker.
Right.
So my feed is
Right.
all ads.
Right. Sucker born every day. But we
There's
are the perfect people to mass market crappy products to.
a sucker swipes every minute.
Sucker swipes every minute. Sucker swipes every minute. Anyway, so back to the my faithful Olive. You know, I realized too, it's like immediate. It's so immediate. The way you interact with your community when you don't have a dog versus when you do. Like, you know, like the dog drives the interactions a lot of the time. Like the dog is driving the train.
I don't want to get onto my my high horse
You can
here,
be
but
anti-dog in the face of my worst day of my life. Sure, go ahead.
not anti-dog, and you know that I got along, spent a lot of time with Olive.
Yeah.
But I'm just walking in the street, or sometimes when I go on my Saturday 5-mile run, no big deal. And there's someone walking their dog. They make no effort to. Sometimes they do, especially if it's a big dog or like kind of maybe a scary dog, to bring the dog. They just let the dog take over the whole sidewalk with the leash covering the thing.
Oh, you mean like they expect you? Yeah, the dog has the right of way.
I mean, I find that. I just find that very.
You find that offensive.
It's just, and the dog, sometimes will nip me, and like, okay, that's just not. I don't think that's right.
I have a the nipping things. I have a few friends that have dogs that are nippy, and like now that I no longer have a dog, I think I'm gonna have less tolerance for it.
Oh my God. Like I've had people just like what the dog literally jumped, and it's not like it's like attacked me. And I'm like, I didn't consent to this. You would never touch me. So why is it okay for the dog to touch me?
We forgive a lot with our dogs. You know what I was forgiving?
No. Who forgives a lot? The owner?
Just everybody. Everybody.
No,
Most of us forgive a lot.
Not forgive a lot. We forget a lot with our dogs. Like, oh, I'm a person living in the world, and there's other people in the world. We forgive the dogs. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the complete opposite. You people are psychos, and you should have like, you never let a baby.
We forgive because what you don't get is even the most nippiest dog provides so much joy to their owners.
Matt, your brain is so pickled.
Yeah,
we're not talking about the fucking owner. You're living out in the world with other people.
No, I know your dog should not be allowed to nip. I agree with that.
There you go. Wow.
Because I agree. I agree because I have a few friends that have nippy dogs that they've never been able to wrangle, and they've almost gotten less embarrassed or like less ashamed.
Like, oh.
Yeah, have you noticed that there's an inverse? Like the more the dog nips, the less that they seem to care about it.
Yes.
Like I have a friend whose dog, like at first they used to be super apologetic when the dog nipped.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, that's just what they do. And then like sometimes they'll laugh about it. And I'm like, wait, this is going the wrong way.
I'm shooketh.
Yeah. Well, just because I have a young child, and so nipping is, a lot more of a
now
dangerous.
Matt has come around. He's got a child. He's at nip height, and now Matt is anti-nip. Past 10 years, Oh, we forgive so much.
I've never been pro. Listen, I've never been pro nip.
You're pro nip.
I've been neutral nip.
Should we take a listener question?
Yeah. Let's take a listener question.
All right,
So
we'll be right. Yeah, go.
Sorry.
Okay, we'll be right back. Okay,
So
guys,
this is.
Can I fucking do the thing? We've only been doing this for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
This is asking for a friend. If you have a listener question or ethical dilemma, send it to us on Instagram, Man of the Year Podcast, and we'll answer on the show. Matt, take it away.
This is a question that we've had just sitting for like a year and a half. We just didn't have anywhere to shoehorn it. I had to wait till my dog passed away. Dear Matt and Karo, love the pod. We have a lot of couple friends. We're not necessarily in the market for new couple friends, but we met a couple that has a dog that has watched our dog. And we don't want to say that's the main reason that we want to increase our friendship or level them up. But we do travel a lot and we find that we don't have a lot of people to put our dog with. And we would never consider putting our dog in daycare. Is it wrong that that ranks as one of the main reasons that we are getting closer to this other couple?
This is a good question. I like this question a lot. I mean, you could make this anything. You could be like, our friends have a beach house.
I like where you're going with this.
Oh, okay. It could be, it doesn't have to be dog. Our friend, knows Taylor Swift, and so we get tickets. I mean, my initial inclination is, if that's the only reason you're hanging out with these people, I don't love it. If that's a conduit to a deeper relationship that you may not know could have existed, that's great. How do you know they're not using you for, they love hanging out with your dog?
Well, I was going to say, like, be careful what you wish for, / like, they may be thinking the same thing. And so when they go away, they're probably going to start looking to you. Like, it's very rare that, like, hey, one person leaves their dog with somebody and then that person never comes back on that ask.
Right. Once someone, takes your dog, then they are now a kennel for you.
I've had that. I think I once had like a 4-to-1 ratio. Like it was like, it's not supposed to be always 50-50, but it got up to like 4-to-1. And I'm like, I think we need to fly to Mexico for no reason. Just to pawn Olive off for a weekend. Look, I agree with what you're saying. Of like, we all have reasons for why we like our friends. I remember we had a listener like a year ago who asked if it was wrong that he thinks he might hang out with his friend because it makes him feel better about where he is in life and his friend.
Yeah.
Like, I think we have all these things in our head that are actually going on if we really boil down why we spend time with somebody. But as long as you genuinely like them and you have a good feeling about them when you're with them, I think it's okay to internally have things that are somewhat transactional, as long as what you said, the core of the relationship isn't transactional.
But now, as you're saying that, Matt, I'm thinking, like, let's say they don't really love this couple.
Right.
But this couple loves watching their dog. This couple doesn't know, like, I don't know, maybe does it matter? Is that quote using somebody?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like people using people, right, as friends. But again, it's like, I think that'll probably end up being a mutually beneficial friendship in that sense. If you have no other friend that are capable of watching the dogs, or like resistant to it, like Karo, who would only do it if I had a gunshot wound.
That is ridiculous. I've watched all your dogs.
One time.
I watched Jersey multiple times when when Jeff would go to the Emmys, and you know what? Jersey wouldn't go to the bathroom. Just wouldn't.
You know what's nice? Our friends Adam and Claire brought over their dog Pringles, and that was Olive's last play date.
Oh,
yeah. So that was nice. That was nice. That, like, she got a play date in, and she was well fed. She ate steak and salmon before she passed. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to bring it down, but back to the listener question. Is there a way to like not make it about that, like again, it's like, are you just being that way with them, or are you actually giving them a chance to be genuine friends?
I forgot. In the question, did they say we don't like them, or they just like, no, we're really leveling them up just because that's our
They said
primary?
they didn't say they didn't like them. They said they're leveling them up because of that.
I mean, just as long as you're gonna like that comes with friendship. Like if they call you and say, "Hey, you want to get drinks?" You're gonna have to do it.
Right.
Like, like let me ask you this, Matt. Let's call this a Matt special. What do we think the other couple is thinking?
Well, that's what I'm saying. A lot of times when you think that, oh, we're just you like, oh, they thank God they watch our dog. Like I'm telling you, they've got a trip circled on their calendar and they already have your names written down as dog sitter.
No, but they also just may love your dog.
Yes. No, I'm saying I think they probably do and they like you,
Right.
but I also think generally that ends up coming around,
Yeah. Oh, I think but you would agree, and I think you just said that a somewhat one to one. If you do a dog favor, you get a
Yeah.
dog favor back.
But I also think, as we age and evolve and new things come up, it's almost like, okay, so my kid is 19 months now. We're gonna be in school soon. I don't know that we even like have carpools anymore, but I remember my mom, in Plainview, my mom had like a carpool.
Mhm.
And I'm sure like on some level when people are looking for friends in that realm, they're like, oh, who could be part of my carpool?
Uh, what's the? I don't know if it's an LA thing. Maybe it's a New York thing. The whole dog, like having someone who can watch your dog, very valuable. Isn't there a thing with like nannies? If you have a good nanny in New York, like you don't tell anybody
Oh,
that.
yeah, because they try to steal. I mean, there's a lot of people that will blatantly try to outpay, just like at the park, be like, so how much you making an hour?
Poach.
Well, yeah, poach. The, oh, 27? We'll give you 30 right now. Walk away.
Just put the kid down and walk away.
Put the kid down. Put the kid down. Put him back in the house. Set the alarm. Leave a note.
Let me ask this.
Oh my God, I would go ballistic if somebody tried to poach my nanny.
Oh yeah.
Ballistic.
Would you ever poach?
No. There's a certain ethics.
There's a code. You got to have a code.
You gotta have a code.
You don't poach a nanny. Would you ever leave, or have you ever left Olive in a dog hotel or kennel? What do they
No,
call them?
no. In fact, one of the funniest things about Olive was how many places we snuck her into illegally. I mean, obviously, she had the fake service dog thing, which is weird because we have a flight coming up. So I had half a mind to just get another dog, name her Olive, and then she'd automatically be in JetBlue's system.
Yeah. Why can't you do that? Do they have a picture of it? Her?
No,
That's a good scam.
could do that. But we used to
Yeah.
sneak Olive in like a trench coat and then bring her to hotels that were not dog friendly because she was so small. I literally would bring her in the back. I'd have her lumped in the back of my trench coat around in like a doggy Bjorn.
And just leave her in the room when you went out.
Yep.
That's kind of gross. And she's got shedding everywhere.
Oh, it's
And
all right. It's awful. But that was before the rise of pet friendly hotels, which I think eventually a lot of hotels realized so many people were doing it, whether they liked it or not.
when you check into a pet friendly hotel room, is it this? Is it smell? Is it just the same?
No, it's actually really nice. And they usually have a dog bed and like a bowl and all this stuff. And they charge you like an extra 75 a night. So for them,
Yeah.
they've realized it's a new revenue source.
You were talking about sneaking Olive in places. I think I lost my train of thought because didn't they get rid of? I thought they don't let you scam anymore on the plane.
It has to be service. Emotional support is no longer.
But what is service? That's who certifies that?
The DSM manual. No, you have to have a real disability. You have to prove that they can, like I have epilepsy and the dog, can tell me when I have a seizure coming on.
But those are two separate things. One is the human diagnosis, and then one is the dog thing. Does that come from the same organization?
No, I think you have to first get diagnosed with a real ailment.
Okay.
And then you have to have the dog trained by these actual training facilities that, prove that they are a service dog. Or
So
you can just go online, or you can go online and pay $50 and print out a letter and get a vest.
Okay. All right. That, it sometimes takes Matt a little while to get down to what I want from him. But
The truth.
the truth. Okay. So did we answer this question?
I mean, the question is generally don't use people
Right.
in life. That's not a good way to go through life. But I also think, hey, it's nice to have friends that are able to dog sit. That's good. That's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think that should be the primary, basis of the relationship.
And what about this, Matt? Dude, this couple, they could surprise you. They could be your new best friends.
Right. It may have started that way. It may grow. Right. Stranger interest-based friendships have grown.
I mean, it's like when you have a one-night stand and then you marry them. I mean, you never know.
Karo's future.
I don't even want to go there. So I would say, what was I just going to say? Go get into this friendship, but remember two things. Number one, you're going to be asked to do the favor they're doing for you. And number two, you're going to be asked to do friendship stuff, like go to dinner, and you're going to have to do that stuff.
Right. I think we answered it.
All right, guys, that was asking for a friend. If you have a friendship question, send it to us on Instagram and we will answer it on the show. All right, Matt, any final thoughts about Man's Best Friend or about Olive?
Yeah, I just think for all of our listeners, I would love to, if you would share some of your pet friend kind of stories, why your pet is meaningful to you. Why a pet is your friend or family. They're really part of your family. I mean, they say it's your best friend, but they're really a huge part of your family. And my dog was there for the entirety of my relationship with my now wife. We got her together 12 years ago.
Yeah. Do you think that some people have a pet in lieu of the IRL human friend?
A lot of people, and a lot of people who don't end up having children treat their pets as children. And I know a lot of people like that. So it's tough when you lose a pet. I think people who don't have pets don't really know how big of a loss that is. Because it is a big piece of your family, your identity. And now I'm having another kid, so there's not going to get another one anytime soon. So I don't know. The house is really quiet. Like Olive had a kind of snoring, loud Frenchie snoring, farting, all of it, all the smells.
I was almost more saying, do you think some people who have a dog that dissuades them from making an IRL buddy, or like they use that as an excuse or a crutch or replacement?
I think some people definitely do, kind of stay in with their animals a lot.
Right.
In fact, we always say we should use your pet to go out and meet people because it's a really easy intro, the dog park, etc. It's a convo starter.
Right. Exactly. Like the dog is an incredible entree into human friendships.
And we should say Olive was Karo's greatest wingman.
Olive was a great wing woman. I mean, she didn't go very far. She liked to stay.
She was still a lazy dog.
I don't want to.
He was a good, lazy, fat Frenchie.
So even though you went on your rant at the beginning, I mean, just because people will be wondering, are you going to get a new dog?
I think it's going to be a couple of years. It's just too hard with two little kids. So feel free to bring your dogs over to bring us joy.
Yeah. Well,
but I won't be dog sitting for anybody else.
Well, listen, man, I love Olive. I love you. Sorry for you guys. But she had a great fucking run.
Yeah, she had an epic run.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Always remember, be good to yourself, be good to your friends, and Man's Best Friend. Love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.